billionaires to a certain extent, there's only so many things or so many toys that you can have, right? At that level.
All right, what do we have in Billionaire Watch this week?
I think just I think you mentioned there's something interesting going on with Magic Johnson. He just became a billionaire.
Dude, when we were putting together this material, he popped up, right? And it's like a 1.2 billion Magic Johnson. And I was trying to figure out how did he made that? I mean, he was making good amount of money with his salary, NBA. But how did he pop from that to right now being a billionaire? And
it's really interesting. He's a business guy, right? So like after the NBA and the whole like HIV scare and things like that he's had, I think he pivoted into going to like business, and he was into like movie theaters and things like that for a while. But I don't know that was super successful. He pivoted to something else, I suppose, right?
It's just teams. It's like literally he owns portions. We go back to what we just talking about acquisitions. He didn't found the teams. Like he has some of the MBLB and some of the different teams, and that's how he was able to grow his network through the time. So owning the assets and doing the acquisition, that was a good strategy for him.
Yeah, you know what? It probably goes back to like, I know he did try cut his teeth on doing like movie theater or something or other, entertainment complexes. Like, yeah, he had some knowledge of it being in the NBA and being in stadiums and things like that. But maybe he wasn't really understanding the business itself. And maybe that's why he pivoted into more like sports teams, because he was an athlete. He's one of the best athletes in the world, right? Still considered one of the best ever in the NBA. So maybe that's why he pivoted. He says, I understand this business. I understand what works, what doesn't. And that's where he finally saw really his biggest success, monetarily at least, right?
Yeah. So it's just interesting to me how different approaches, but yeah, this billionaire, it did it as well through acquisitions, right? So maybe we're starting to see a pattern here where there are shortcuts. It's a shortcut to be able to keep moving you into different levels.
Yeah. And I think people to a certain extent, or I should say billionaires to a certain extent, there's only so many things or so many toys that you can have, right? At that level. One of those things is going to be sports teams, because they do cost a lot, but they also tend to grow over time, their value. So I know Mark Cuban, we talked about, he recently sold, a big stake of the Dallas Mavericks and things like that. Tillman Fertitta here in Houston, he's a casino guy, things like that, but he also the owner of the Houston Rockets. He's trying to bring a new NHL and a WNBA team back to Houston again. So like he's seen that there's a pretty good return on his money, I suppose, enough so that he's trying to bring 2 more teams into the Houston market. But then again, there's only so many things that you can do, right? He's done casinos. He's done sports teams, and maybe he's seen a good return on that, and so he's kind of doubling down on it.
There is this guy. Do you know who's Gary Vee? He's that guy. He always has been saying that he wants to buy I think that the Jets. That's literally when he makes it to the billionaire. I think that he's gonna need more than that. So it's like you have to hurry up, Gary.
I know. Well, with inflation, right? It's gonna be billions and billions soon. So.
It's exactly. It's just inflation, right? So, but yeah, that's his whole spiel that when he make it, he's gonna be able to buy the team.
Yeah. And, to a certain extent, sometimes it's not just about the money, right? There's more than that that goes into it, right? You got to have the seat at the table. You got to be a known personality. They don't want just anybody to become an NFL owner or an NBA owner. There's a lot more that goes into it. So it'll be pretty interesting. It's kind of like how Ferrari, they won't sell you a Ferrari unless you're like a previous Ferrari owner type of thing. Like, I'm like, well, how do you buy one if you don't already have one? Like, there's
like
certain
the
rules about it.
It's like the credit card. You need a credit card to have a credit card.
Exactly. It's kind of weird, but there's certain rules like that. Like, you have to be a known quantity for them to trust you, at least for like at least for their like very high models, their exclusive models, right? I'm sure you can go buy, F458 or something like that, and be good, or whatever the latest Ferrari model is. Those are the ones that I like. I like the 458s, by the way. If I didn't get Cybertruck, I would be maybe getting a 458. I think that's what I would have. Those are still kind of affordable and still look really nice. But yeah, so there's things like that, and I think it's very similar to NFL, NBA, things like that. But sports teams is the realm of the billionaires. That's where they like to hang out.
Uh, yeah. You're going after the Houston Rockets?
Man, Fertitta is a big name, and he's just getting started over here. So that's the hard part. I don't know if I'll be able to do that. At least not anytime soon. We'll see what we do once we get to the billionaire status.
We'll see. Then we have a good one, man.
Yeah. Hey, well, and you know what? That's all what we've got for today. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. We love to hear from you. We love the comments. We like to talk about them here in the podcast. I know we've got a lot of people preparing for the having party. We love seeing those comments. We're right there with you. Again, another plug for our viral Bitcoin meme songs. Check them out. They're on our channel. We'll link them in the show notes. But that's all that we've got for today. So we'll see y'all next time. Dale.
Dale.